Hi, I'm Melina, co-founder of JusticeApp. I had the opportunity to ask attorney Natasha Vedananda of the Volunteer Lawyers Project some important questions about the state of evictions today, March 5th, 2021, given the COVID-19 pandemic. Stay tuned to learn more. Please note this is an evolving issue. To continue to stay up to date on the topic, please visit evictionlegalhelp.org. Our thanks to attorney Vedananda and the Volunteer Lawyers Project. What protections against eviction exist today?
In Massachusetts, between April 2020 and October 17th, 2020, we had a very protective state eviction moratorium. That eviction moratorium prevented in-progress eviction cases from moving forward, so it suspended cases that were already open, and it prevented most new eviction cases from being filed. That moratorium expired on October 17th, and then on October 18th, 2020, the federal CDC moratorium went into effect in Massachusetts. The federal moratorium is much less protective than the state moratorium. So first, the CDC moratorium only applies to non-payment cases, so it doesn't cover other cases except for non-payment cases. Also, the CDC moratorium doesn't prevent non-payment cases from moving forward in the court system. It really only prevents that last stage of an eviction, which is the execution stage. The execution is the name of the court order that allows the landlord to regain possession of the unit. So the CDC moratorium prevents that last stage until at least March 31st, 2021. Maybe longer if it's extended, but for now, the CDC moratorium is going to expire on March 31st, 2021. To be protected under the CDC moratorium, tenants should sign and deliver a CDC declaration to their landlords. They want to read the declaration carefully and make sure that all of the components of the declaration apply to their case. And if so, they can sign and deliver that to their landlord, and they will be protected under the CDC moratorium until at least March 31st, 2021. You can find the CDC declaration form and additional information at evictionlegalhelp.org.
Do I qualify for the CDC Eviction Moratorium?
Who qualifies for protection under the CDC moratorium? First, you must be financially eligible. This means that you received an economic impact payment or a stimulus payment, or you made $99,000 or less in 2020 as a single person, or $198,000 or less as a married couple. Second, you must have experienced a substantial loss of income or extraordinary out-of-pocket medical expenses such that you're unable to make your full rent payments at this time. The loss of income and the medical expenses do not need to be COVID-related in order to qualify under the CDC moratorium. Third, you must be making your best efforts to make partial rent payments. Fourth, you must certify that if evicted, you would be homeless or you would have to move in with somebody else. And fifth, you must certify that you are applying for available government rental assistance. In Massachusetts, the largest funding available for rental assistance is RAFT, Residential Assistance for Families in Transition. If you meet all of these 5 criteria, you can get a CDC declaration online, sign it, and deliver it to your landlord, and you will be protected under the moratorium, which currently expires on March 31st, 2021.
What do I do if I can't pay my rent?
You should sign and deliver a CDC declaration to your landlord. The CDC moratorium prevents eviction for non-payment until at least March 31st, 2021. You should also apply for available rental assistance. The largest source of rental assistance available in Massachusetts is called RAFT, Residential Assistance for Families in Transition. RAFT is administered by 11 different administering agencies in the state, depending on where you live. To find out which administering agency serves your city or town, you can visit evictionlegalhelp.org. One important thing to know about RAFT applications is that they can take some time to process, so it's important that you apply as soon as you can once you fall behind in rent. Also, as of right now, if you have a rental assistance application pending, you cannot be evicted for non-payment. A lot of cities and towns also have their own individual rental assistance applications and funding, so you should check your city or town website and see if there's additional funding available for you.
What can my landlord do if I'm falling behind on rent?
If you're falling behind in rent, the landlord can send you a non-payment notice to quit. Once the notice to quit expires, the landlord can begin the eviction process in court by having you served with a summons and complaint. But the landlord needs court permission to gain possession of the apartment. This means the landlord can't force you out of the apartment, they can't change the locks, they need to go through that eviction process in order to even try to gain possession of the apartment. If you're falling behind on your rent and you qualify under the CDC moratorium, you should send your landlord a signed CDC declaration and you should apply for available rental assistance. You can visit evictionlegalhelp.org for more information.
What do I do if I get a notice to quit?
The most important thing to know is that you do not need to leave your home when you receive the notice to quit or when the notice to quit expires. The notice to quit is just the first stage of the eviction process. Once the notice to quit expires, it means that the landlord can file papers in court and begin the court process, which is called summary process in Massachusetts. If you received a notice to quit for non-payment, it should come with what's called an attestation form. This attestation form is required for all non-payment notices to quit that are served after December 18, 2020, and the attestation form will contain important rights and resources for tenants. In addition, if you received a non-payment notice to quit and you qualify under the CDC moratorium, you should sign and deliver a CDC declaration to your landlord, and this will prevent eviction until at least March 31st, 2021. You should also begin filling out some applications for rental assistance. The largest source of rental assistance in Massachusetts is RAFT, Residential Assistance for Families in Transition. As of right now, if you have a rental assistance application pending, you cannot be evicted. So if you're facing non-payment eviction and you receive a notice to quit for non-payment, one of the most important things you can do is begin a RAFT application. You can find more information about tenants' rights and resources at evictionlegalhelp.org.
What do I do if I get a summons and complaint?
If you receive a summons and complaint, that means that the landlord has started the eviction process in court, which is called summary process in Massachusetts. Once you receive the summons and complaint, it's important that you file 2 documents in response. These are called answer and discovery. There's deadlines for filing these documents. The Volunteer Lawyers Project, VLP, and Greater Boston Legal Services, GBLS, are both holding answer and discovery clinics to help tenants complete these answer and discovery documents. So as soon as you receive the summons and complaint, you should call the Eastern Regional Legal Intake Line, 617-603-1700, and ask to be scheduled for an answer and discovery clinic. At one of these clinics, you'll have a chance to discuss your case with an attorney. You'll go through the answer and discovery documents, and you'll be able to file and serve these on time in your eviction case. For additional resources and information about how eviction cases work, you can visit evictionlegalhelp.org.
What happens in court?
Right now, most court events are being held virtually via Zoom. The Housing Court is scheduling eviction cases for 2 events, the first tier event and the second tier event. The first tier event is mediation, and the second tier event is trial. Mediation is not held before a judge. The mediation is actually conducted by a court employee called the Housing Court Specialist, who's a neutral person. They're not on anybody's side, and they're there to sort of mediate the discussion between the landlord and the tenant. Mediation is an opportunity for the parties to try to reach some sort of agreement. They don't have to reach an agreement during mediation, and tenants should make sure that they understand the terms of any proposed agreement fully, that they can comply with the terms, and just read it very carefully before you sign off on anything. Most of the housing court sessions have a lawyer for the day program, which is also being held via Zoom. If during the mediation you want to speak to the lawyer for the day, just let the housing court specialist know, and they should put you into that Zoom room with the attorney for the day if the lawyer is available. If you reach an agreement during mediation, then that takes care of the case. If an agreement is not reached, then the case is going to be scheduled for the second tier event, which is trial. Trial is going to be held before the judge. The tenant should be prepared with all of their evidence and witnesses and be prepared to put their case on before the judge. Once the judge hears the case, he or she is going to take the case under advisement and issue a decision. If the landlord wins, then that means the landlord can get what's called the execution, which is a court order that allows the landlord to regain possession of the apartment or the unit. In that case, if the tenant needs more time to find housing, they're going to want to file a motion to stay to ask the court for more time. So a lot of these forms, detailed instructions on the forms, detailed information about the stages of the eviction case, and lots of helpful resources are available at masslegalhelp.org or evictionlegalhelp.org.